Hey, what's up, Eli? How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate your time. First thing I want to ask you, man, you were drafted number one overall and didn't start right away. A lot of people talking about the five quarterbacks drafted in the first round this year. Three of them are going to get a start week one. How much benefit do you think there is to playing right away versus sitting, waiting, watching?
I think, it depends on the person, depends on the player, how ready they are. I think college players coming into the NFL now are probably more prepared than what I was, 17 years ago. I think the college game is more advanced, defenses are more advanced. And I think the NFL game is taking some of those concepts that these guys are running in college and the RPOs and doing some more of those things. There's definitely a learning curve, but I think it's so important that those young guys, the rookies do get in and play. And like for me, I sat, the first 9 games, but, those next 6 games, 7 games were so instrumental in me learning. And you can learn a little bit from the sidelines, but you really have to be in the action and kind of learn from your mistakes to really understand just how you have to prepare, how much you have to know, and so I think it just kind of prepares you, later on. So I think the guys who are playing early on and starting week one, the first, they could have great games, but the first weeks there's going to be mistakes. But as they get later in the season, kind of that second half, they're going to be so much better, and playing at a higher level just because they've already learned so much.
Do you have a feel for any of those guys, whether it's Trevor, Zach, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones? Have you watched them closely throughout maybe training camp, preseason, and have any idea how they're going to perform?
It's hard. I mean, you've seen them a little bit in preseason, but sometimes, I never look too much into preseason because you don't know, what the defense is doing, if they're going against a starting defense or there's, backups in there. So, I've seen several of them up close. Some have been to our passing academy. I've seen some of them, play in college, and some I haven't, seen a whole lot of at all. So, I think. I do know one thing, in Trevor Lawrence, seen Trevor, know him personally, seen him for a few years and watched him. He's played a lot of football, and which is important. And, in college, played in a lot of football games and big time games and big stages. And so I think he is game ready and ready to perform. But he's also going to the team that had the number one pick. And when you have the number one pick, that means you earn that number one pick by being really bad. And so you are going to a bad team in a sense. And so, there's struggles with that. And you wonder, hey, how good's the offensive line? How good are the players around him, the defense? And so, it doesn't set up for an easy situation. It just, you can't get one player and all of a sudden turn around a franchise when you're a rookie quarterback. So there'll definitely be some growing pains there, but I think just for him being in there, playing a lot of games, he'll find ways to make plays, but it won't always be easy. I think when you get a guy like Mac Jones and he's coming into a little better team. He was a 15th pick out of the middle of the pack and a team that's used to winning and used to having a lot of success and great coaches and kind of a proven organization. So I think he has the opportunity to come in and play well and maybe have a little bit more early success just because he's surrounded by better players. But it's always fun to root for all these rookies, root for all the players, and it's fun to watch them and their progression throughout the course of the season.
Well, you didn't start week one, Eli, but you certainly played. I was there for your NFL debut in Philly at the link. It was the TO game. I don't know. You had three touchdowns or whatever it was, but I'll never forget that crushing hit, man. You took the last play of the game, Jerome McDougal. Didn't make many sacks in his career, but he laid you out. And your dad afterwards said, "I thought Eli was dead." Was you played another 16 seasons, 210 consecutive starts? Did you ever get hit harder at all after that?
That was it. That was the biggest hit of my entire career. I remember, coming off the field. I remember talking to my brother Peyton after, and that's what he said. He says, I hope that's the biggest hit you ever take the rest of your life. You got it out of the way, week one, game one, and so just learn my lesson, not to reverse field and try to scramble too much back there. That these guys are fast and they will if they get a free shot, they will take advantage of it. So I was definitely parallel, I think, to the ground at one moment, and a big hit, and didn't take one bigger.
Was that the biggest rivalry for you guys, or was it Dallas? Like we always in the NFC East, Eagles fans hate the Cowboys. Everybody hates the Cowboys. The Giants and Eagles, there's so proximity. What in your as a player, what was your biggest rival?
It's tough. It kind of changes over times. I think, there's definitely a stretch where, when it first came in, the Eagles were playing the best football. They'd been to a bunch of Super Bowls. They've been to NFC Championship games. McNabb was playing great, and so you're just trying to kind of reach their level. And then all of a sudden there was some flip flop, and the Cowboys with Tony Romo were playing great football. So and then Washington. So I think everybody kind of has. It's not necessarily by the organization. Sometimes it's just by the player. There may be a certain player in one of those teams you don't like, or the organization. It might be Washington because of the history there. From ownership years ago, and there's each player kind of has their own reason for disliking some of the teams. So, we seem to have some success for Dallas. We seem to not have much success for Philly. So it seemed like those were the big games for us. Like, hey, we got to find a way to beat these guys, and just, had trouble at times. And so, it is a storied conference, and so many great teams over the years and players. And so it was such a fun division to play in.
Well, you just mentioned a little bit ago about Mac Jones joining a team that's used to winning. The Patriots have always been used to winning, except when they play you. And you had the success in the two victories against them in the Super Bowl. I'm sure that's the highlight of your career when you look back on it. Uh, when the Eagles played them and Nick Foles beat them, were you rooting for? Is there any part of you that says, "Hey, I want to be the only quarterback that beats Tom Brady in the Patriots"? Does it ever feel that way, or you're like, "Hey, I just enjoy football"?
It's a mixed emotion. I think a lot of times, you kind of root for the NFC, you root for your own conference, but then all of a sudden it's like the Eagles. It's like you don't want someone in your own division also winning a championship. But then, so it was a hard situation. You kind of didn't really, you never go into a game really knowing who you're going to root for. When I'm watching an NFL game, sometimes I'm just watching it, and you just find yourself kind of kind of rooting for a guy, rooting for a person. For me, I kind of just root for the quarterback. So whoever has the ball, I want that quarterback to make a play. So if there's a 2-minute drive at the end of the game, I kind of want that quarterback to go out there and make the plays and make the throw, and so how hard it is, and so you find this kind of rooting for the offense and rooting for the players to make plays happen.
How much does it surprise you, if at all, that Tom's still out there doing his thing?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not surprised, by it, just because I've seen, how hard he works, and his commitment to it. But still just super impressed by his ability to keep it going, and for last year to leave an organization after 20 years, have a new coach, new offense, and a shortened off season because of COVID, and get in there and still create the same results and getting to a Super Bowl and winning. So it is unbelievable, and I credit to him and his work ethic, and just his ability to will the team and to get the team to kind of believe that they can go out there and win a championship.
How closely do you stay connected to your former team and watch what Joe Judge is doing over there in New York, and with those players? And what do you think of their future, their outlook this season?
Yeah, I got to watch a few practices this year, and keep up with some of my old teammates who are still there, and root them on. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the Giants this upcoming season. And I'm excited. For me, I didn't get to go to any games last year. I'm excited to go to a game. I'm going to go to the game this weekend on Sunday, and go with my family, and kind of get to take in the action. And so, that's something I've never done. I've never watched a Giants game with my kids before in the stadium. They've been to many games, but watching me. So I look forward to that. and now kind of, hey, Verizon and the 5G multi-view, you got that on the phone, everything that they have, will be, on the phone using that, using the camera angles and all those features. So, I think that to kind of, have that experience with my family and make that kind of a weekly tradition, watching the Giants, watching football, going to games. I'm excited to kind of make that a weekly habit.
Well, Eli, during your playing career, you were like you always had this serious look on your face, and now I see you. You retire. You're a great follow on Twitter. You're doing popping out of crates for Michael Strahan, doing fun things. There's Eli's Places, which is hysterical. You're doing what you're doing now with Verizon. I mean, I'm starting to think you're the funnier brother of the two. How do you view that?
Uh, you know, um, I just trying to have fun, and I think, I always try to take my job very serious and playing football, but try not to take myself too seriously, and it just that side never got to kind of be seen a whole lot. And, my friends know it, my teammates know it, but without social media, without these other things, you kind of didn't want get too far away from the football mentality of things, and now kind of being done don't have any reason to be, have a whole lot of things to be real serious about. And so just, kind of took the social media and joined Twitter a little over a year ago, and just try to have fun with that, and don't write anything serious at all. So it's been a lot of fun. I think Peyton does a great job with all his commercials and all his. So he's kind of the storyteller, and I'm excited, be doing a little Monday Night Football with him this season, and we'll start that this on Monday this week, and so that'll be a lot of fun. I don't think I've watched a Monday Night Football game with Peyton in probably 25 years, so it'd be good to get back and do that on a weekly basis.
Well, you mentioned the what you're doing with Verizon. It's now going to be Verizon 5G ultra wideband in select parts of 25 stadiums. So you're going to be using it, right? You're going to go to the games. You're going to be using it. How excited are you to be involved with them?
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I think just the way that the innovation and the technology that Verizon's doing and teaming up with the NFL, and so I'm excited just to be able to go to the game and be able to watch a replay, and it has 7 different camera angles on the multi-view. It's just all through the for me it'll be through the Giants app, but whatever team you're at that stadium in the team app, it'll have the Verizon 5G multi-view section where you can go get your different angles and see different parts of the game and different views from wherever you're sitting within the stadium. So I'm excited to use it, and get the kids on it, and get them in the football and everything going on. So it's a great idea, and Verizon just does a great job just coming up with new technology and new ways to experience the game in person.
Eli, that's one for you. You always came across as one of the more humble players that I've ever seen, talked to, interviewed, watched play, just the way you carried yourself on the field. Where did that come from? How did that develop? Is it something, is it faith? Is it something else? Like, where did that come from, that being that kind of humble person who just lets their actions do all the talking?
I think just growing up, I was always a little bit shy, a little bit quiet. I had 2 older brothers who were 5 years and 7 years older than me. They're a little bit more outgoing, so I think I just kind of enjoyed. I was fine just sitting back and watching them, and I like to laugh. I like to be involved in things, but didn't have to be the center of attention. And it was fine, kind of just letting them run the show. And I think that's kind of the same way when we have success. I enjoy watching other people have success and other people enjoying the limelight, and to get the credit. So I like giving away, giving that credit to the other people. But I don't like people kind of going through the tough times, and so I try to take a lot of the blame because I just knew I could handle it and I could deal with it. And so I think that's just always been my personality, and I think that's important. Whenever rise to different levels. And for me, it was football, but whatever field you might be in, is you got to stay true to your own personality. Just because you have some success, or you're expected to be a leader, or you're playing quarterback in the NFL, you got to all of a sudden change your personality to try to fit some type of stereotype, or what people expect you to do. You have to be true to your personality. And for me, I'm competitive, and I want to win. I just, I'm not a rah-rah. I kind of do it through my actions and just try to set an example through my work ethic and the way I do things, and just be a great teammate and a great friend to people, and motivate them that way.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know you won't say it, but that helmet catch by David Tyree was phenomenal. We all talk about that, but you scramble and made that happen, Eli. I don't know
Well,
if I ever seen you scramble like that.
yeah, I tried it once in Philly and got, I almost got my head knocked off. I tried it one more time in a Super Bowl when desperate measures, and Tyree made he made an unbelievable catch with Rodney Harrison hanging all over him. So I still don't know how he made that catch. It's still, every time I watch it, I'm not sure he really did. I'm always looking, it's like maybe that hit the ground. Maybe he's not going to be able to catch it this time, but he always makes it.
Hey, man, I appreciate the conversation, Eli. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.